Mr. President, yesterday, James Comey, the FBI director, announced that his agency will not recommend that the Department of Justice bring criminal federal charges against former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton regarding her use of a set of off-the-books, undisclosed, unsecured email servers, not only for her own personal correspondence, but also for her official duties, including highly sensitive material related to foreign intelligence and related to terrorist targeting. Director Comey's rationale for systematically and devastatingly recounting Secretary Clinton's many violations of the law and yet recommending against a prosecution is being hotly debated both outside and inside the FBI, as it should be. I rise in this body today as a matter of oversight to speak to a slightly different matter than the prosecutorial discretion and decision. The debate about why the crimes are not being prosecuted in this case should not blind us to a broader, debasing problem in our civic life today. Simply put, lying matters. Public trust matters. Integrity matters. And woe to us as a nation if we decide to pretend that this isn't so. Mr. President, this issue is not about political points or about presidential politics. It is about whether the people can trust their representatives, those of us who are supposed to be serving them in government for a limited time. I'm going to read today a series of direct quotes from Secretary Clinton regarding this investigation, and then I will also read a series of direct quotes from Director Comey's statement yesterday, as well as from the State Department's official Inspector General report on this issue. I will not provide a running commentary. I will instead simply recount the words and the assertions of Secretary Clinton, and I will hold them up to the light of what the FBI and the State Department investigations have found. Sadly, this will be damning enough. When the story broke about the Secretary's use of a personal email account and set of undisclosed servers, she called a press conference at the United Nations on March 10th last year, and she emphatically and without qualification declared this, quote, "I did not email any classified information to anyone on my email, period. There is no classified material," close quote, period, full stop. Yesterday, Director Comey, that is not true. Quote, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agencies to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received. 8 of those chains contained information that was top secret at the time they were sent. 36 more chains contained secret information, close quote. Later, Secretary Clinton adjusted her defense to say, quote, "I did not send nor receive information that was marked classified at the time it was sent or received," close quote. Yesterday, Director Comey directly addressed and directly dismissed this defense, noting that while only a small number of the emails containing classified information bore the markings indicating the presence of classified information, quote, "Even if the information is not marked classified in an email, participants who know or should know that the subject matter is classified are still legally obligated to protect it," close quote. Throughout this controversy, Secretary Clinton has maintained, quote, "I have fully complied with every rule I was governed by." She said, "I have fully complied with every rule I was governed by." The Inspector General of her own State Department has concluded exactly the opposite. Quote, "Sending emails from a personal account to other employees at their department accounts is not an appropriate method of preserving any such emails that constitute a federal record. Therefore, Secretary Clinton should have preserved any federal records she created and received on her personal account by printing and filing those records with the related files in the Office of the Secretary. At a minimum, Secretary Clinton should have surrendered all emails dealing with department business before leaving government service, and because she did not do so, she did not comply with the department's policies that were implemented in accordance with the Federal Records Act statutes." Now, regarding those subsequently surrendered emails, Mrs. Clinton has said, quote, After I left office, the State Department then asked former secretaries of state for our assistance in providing copies of work-related emails from our personal accounts. I responded right away, and I provided, quote, all my emails that could have possibly been work-related. Yesterday, Director Comey explicitly rejected this claim, noting not only that several thousand emails were missing, but also that some of the emails she withheld were in fact classified. Director Comey, quote, the FBI has also discovered several thousand work-related emails that were not in the group of 30,000 that were initially returned by Secretary Clinton to the State Department in 2014. And with respect to the thousands of emails we found that were not among those produced to the State Department, agencies have concluded that 3 of those were also classified at the time they were sent or received, 1 at the secret level. Mr. President, lest we be confused, here is Director Comey's summary of the situation. Quote, any reasonable person in Secretary Clinton's position or in the position of those government employees with whom she was corresponding about these classified matters should have known that an unclassified system was no place for that conversation, close quote. Mr. President, we could go on. There's more about the foreign adversaries that all of us in this body who get our classified briefs know were and know are today trying to hack sensitive U.S. government classified material. What I've presented here is not an opinion. This is not political talking point or spin. All that we've done here is to recount some of the specific defenses, claims, and excuses Secretary Clinton has offered regarding her use of a set of unsecured, undisclosed, off-the-books email servers, and then contrasted those claims with how both the FBI and the State Department's Inspector General have proved those claims to be clearly and knowingly false. If any of Secretary Clinton's defenders in this body would like to come to the floor to dispute any of the FBI's assertions, I would welcome that conversation. Mr. President, these are serious matters, and they deserve our serious attention. As elected officials, we have been entrusted for a time with the security of the nation and with the trust of the people. Mr. President, quite apart from the specific questions and debates about whether Secretary Clinton is going to be convicted for her crimes, we must grapple with the reality that the public trust, the rule of law, and the security of our nation have been badly injured by her actions. In the coming months, the next time that a career military or intelligence officer leaks an important secret, that is a legally defined classified matter that relates to the security of our nation and to the security of our nation's spies, who are today putting their lives at risk to defend our freedoms, the next time there is such a leak, one of 2 things is going to happen now. Either that individual will not be held accountable, because yesterday the decision was made to set a new, lower standard about our nation's security secrets. We will therefore become weaker. Or, in the alternative, the decision will be made to hold that person accountable, either by prosecution or by firing. In that moment, that individual and his or her peers and his or her family will rightly ask this question. They will say, why is the standard different for me than for the politically powerful? Why is the standard different for me, a career intelligence officer or a career soldier, than for the former Secretary of State? This question is about the rise of a 2-tiered system of justice, one for the common man and one for the ruling political elites. If we in this body allow such a 2-tiered system to solidify, we will fail in our duties, both to safeguard the nation and to enable the people to believe in representative government and in equality before the law. This stuff matters. Lying matters. The dumbing down and the debasing of expectations about public trust matter. Honor matters. And woe to us as a nation if we decide to forget this obvious truth of Republican government. Thank you, Mr. President.